Hey guys, it's been a long while since I've uploaded. Merry Christmas to everyone and Happy New Year's depending on when you're watching this. If you're watching this before New Year's, still Happy New Year's when it comes around. First and foremost, it has been a little while. I've mainly been working, as well as, like I said in my previous devlog, that I am doing some 3D modeling. I have been doing some 3D modeling and I've been doing quite a bit, and it's been coming a good way. It's mainly a lot of testing and make sure all works in level, like it's not too big, too small. And then like I've been doing some little bit of coding as well, because I was like, let me do some coding because it's been a little while, and I was able to make a couple of good things. I'll showcase to you, of course, throughout the process of this video, but I was able to make a randomly procedural generated dungeon, as well as a procedural stair system, which I may use, I may not use. It's more depending how I feel about it, but I have it then in like the background. And I am working on something as well, which is procedural movement, but for some reason, as of right now of me making this video, it is not working. I don't know what I've done. I was testing, it was working, everything was perfect earlier. I closed it, opened it back up, and then it broke. So yeah, if I can, or if I feel like it, I'll most likely show you what it's supposed to do, because I have a separate like project that I just mainly have all for coding, so I make sure all the codes just work, no problems there, and I don't have to, like, you know, go hunting for it. So yeah, first and foremost, I hope you all are doing amazing today. Hope you guys have a lovely week, month, you had the time to spend with your family, and you guys just are okay in life. That's all we really need, and that's all we need, and that's all I want to say before I actually start doing this video. So please enjoy, and yeah, it's just a quick introduction. I just want to say this real quick before I actually get started and do the whole in-depth talking about everything that's happening. So please hope you have a lovely day, a lovely week, a lovely month, and you have time to spend with families. Okay, I want to let you guys know I have so much to cover, because I have a lot of videos to actually I've done and been creating during this month, so I'll try to cover them as quickly as possible and with as much detail as possible. So yeah, first and foremost, I have been 3D modeling, like I've been saying, and like I said in my last video, that I will be starting to do that just because I want to help my friend out a little bit with certain assets and models, that whenever I feel like coding is like I have nothing to do coding wise, I can at least jump into 3D modeling and be helping out with them with that. And I have been basically making the actual ship for the player characters to be loading into, and yeah, I think it's not finished as of yet. It's still not finished because I got distracted with some coding, but I think it's not finished yet, but I think it's really good. It's especially for someone who hasn't 3D modeled in, I think, like 2 years. No lie, like I want to say for like near enough a year, and I think it's turned out quite well. I still have some of the memories of course, when I wanted to do 3D modeling a lot, that it's been, yeah, quite a journey. I won't showcase every single everything I've done like 3D modeling wise, because that would be like, this video will probably near enough like 4 hours, and probably not 4 hours, let's be realistic, like near enough an hour, and I don't think you guys really want to sit through an hour of me doing 3D modeling. And yeah, even though that sounds like maybe a dream for some people, but for me, I feel like that's just too much time for you guys to be looking at just me modeling, as well as just basically talking over my work. So yeah, I'll save you guys all that drama and all that hassle, so you guys don't have to worry. But yeah, I've learned a lot while doing all my 3D modeling. If I'm being honest with you, I've learned how to of course do 3D again, but I've also learned a good process of actually planning my plans out for modeling. That just didn't make sense earlier. but if you get what I meant, you get what I meant. But I've been using it a lot. I've been drawing out my ideas so I make sure it's easy and understandable for what I need to do instead of just rushing straight into it and stuff like that. I've been getting a lot of reference images, using that to help me come up with my ideas, like how am I supposed to work around all this stuff. Then I also once I done my reference images, I've also just learned a little bit about Blender again, just so I can re-educate myself on the process, as well as I've also been just discovering new stuff onto it that I've never used before. My first time ever using Blender, and it's just been quite helpful in my opinion. So yeah, I would recommend, if you are going to use Blender, actually learn a little bit more way beforehand you decide to use it, because it can be a little bit daunting at first, in my opinion. Probably for other people, they'll say it's not that daunting, but for me, I feel like it's daunting, because especially me coming back from coding to do this again, it was quite daunting. And that was quite interesting journey, in my opinion. So if I can recommend it to anyone, just do it. Do a little bit of research, at least do a couple of videos beforehand. I recommend watching this guy on YouTube, where he teaches you how to make a donut, because he's how I learned how to use Blender in the first place, and it was quite helpful. The guy is called Blender Guru. I'll put his name in the description, as well as show you, I'll just put his name. I'll put his name in the description for you, and you can just follow his tutorial course on how to use Blender. Best guy to help you learn everything from it. And if not, if you don't use him, just learn and study in your own free time. Practice is your best friend, even if you only do an hour. One thing, if you probably haven't seen through the little videos that I've been putting in, that I've been using a reference character, which is the Unreal Engine mannequin. I recommend always having that into your Blender or any 3D modeling software you're using. It doesn't matter how much experience in the industry you have or not. But it's just how I see it. It's just so you can always understand the height relative to the player character to the real world should be. I recommend this to my friend as well. They sometimes do use it, they sometimes don't, but it's always good to know how tall or how wide or anything should be in the world, so you can understand, okay, this is a little bit too big, this is a little bit too small. And I will be linking this as well into the description of the video, and you can follow it, use it yourself, and help me help yourself with knowing where everything should be. Like I said earlier, I've been doing also some coding with some procedural generated rooms, as well as just doing some coding in general. I don't have any videos of me making the procedural generation rooms, but I will do a quick overview showcase of how it actually works, so then you guys can see how I've been doing this in the first place. So first and foremost, let me quickly rehook this. So when doing a procedural generated room, you have to make the actual rooms itself. So how I made the rooms were like this. If I go to this, so you have the master room, which is this. Normally the master room would have other actors in it, but I've been deleting it so I can make some space around it. But you have to make specific scenes in the things, and if you don't know what a scene is, if you just go into the add up here and then just go scenes, you can kind of make them look like acts, like folders in a sense, if you want to call it like that. But it's just a way for you to like easily manage the locations of everything in a specific blueprint, and where they're supposed to be. So you have to make scenes. So it's a geometry folder, an overlay folder which has an overlay box, exit list, and then spawn points. The overlay box, you had to make a custom object type called overlay. How you do that? It's very easy, very simple. Go project, edit, project settings, and then go into collisions. Then from collisions, you just make a new object channel and then you just go from there. Name it whatever you need to name it, and then wherever you need to have the default value of it's supposed to be. That's just a good thing for you guys to know in the future. So Uh, Normally there would be actual stuff in here, but I had to remove it because it was kind of hard for me to make the other rooms. But what it would roughly look like is this. This is what it would turn out in the end. Of course, everything's very blocked out because I do not need to actually worry about details as of yet, because I'm still in the very early stages of prototyping. Even though I've been doing this for a couple of months, I'm still in prototyping stages and do need to eventually actually play test this with people at some point. But I still want to make sure a large majority of the assets at least is working from beginning to end, no problems. So this is what it will turn out. As you can see, you got the floor, the walls, and you got and then you got the box collider right there, which is in between. So this box collider acts as a overlay to make sure whenever you spawn the next room, there's just no problems spawning in the next room. Like, it won't overlay on top of each other, and it will actually spawn the next room. So then from there, you have to make sure your first room you spawn in is the starter room. Once you do the starter room, it then checks checks the actual list that you did, the exit list that you've done, to make sure it is all correct. Yeah, and once it does all the checks the exit list, it then goes through each possible exit list and spawns in the next room in which is in a random array. And then our second like 0.1 second of the room spawning in, it checks for an overlay, and that overlay makes sure to see if the room is going on top of is actually a free space, or is it something is sorry, where it's spawning, is there enough space for it to spawn without colliding with something else. And then what it's best place for you to show that, sorry, because I moved everything around. Anyway, it checks the overlay. It checks the overlay to make sure it's all right. Spawns it in. Is it empty? No. No. Then sorry. Is it empty? Is the emptiness of the areas true? So then it makes sure that it destroys the actor, then try again until it eventually finds a space for it to spawn. Once it finds a space for it to spawn, then it spawns the actor. And then it keeps doing that for the room amount that you put in. So whatever you want to set the default room amount to be, I have as in my one, I have as random number between 100 and 200. Then it keeps doing that and keeps removing the number every time, regardless. Then from there, at the end of it, it closes the holes. So as you can tell from the starter room, every or whatever, if there's like a hole that there's been no rooms that spawned into, it then closes it off with some sort of block, just to be like, this, you cannot progress any further, basically. Then after that, it does that, it then spawns in doors, whichever doors you want it to be. I do not need it spawns in all the doors that you need for the level. Once the doors has been spawned in and it does all that information, then I have a boolean that says, do I want a special room? If I want a special room, how am I going to spawn a special room? And then how many mounts are supposed to spawn in between, and does all of that information from there. It's not that, it's quite complex, and it's not that complex at the same time. I'll showcase to you how it works. So I have a random number generator between, like I said, 100 and whatever, and I'm gonna allow it to spawn in special rooms. Where is the thing? Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna allow it to spawn in some special rooms. I have to determine what the special rooms are at the very beginning, right here, and then I have to determine the common rooms from the room list. And then you got base room. So if you are spawning special rooms, it just basically needs to spawn back again all the common rooms again, just so it knows after it does that, it can actually continue spawning in the previous rooms without any problems. If you don't do that, it will not carry on the numbers decreasing from then on. So if I press start here, oh, sorry, forgot I was playtesting. I was doing something else. So if I press start here, see how it's spawning in the rooms, and the number, I didn't see the number at the beginning, but you must have saw the number down there. I'll probably put an editor's note saying what the number was, but you see how it's spawning in all the little rooms and all the different variations and all the different special rooms. These ones are the special rooms, just so you know the difference. But you see how it's doing it and how it's making sure all that information is put into the level. And it's actually putting everything into the world. and then the moment it hits 0, which let me showcase that to you. Ooh, lost the thing. Yeah, so the moment it hits 0, it stops spawning all the rooms, and then it just actually puts it in. So to showcase me the closing of the hole, so these are the doors. I just use these as cones just for representation, because I need you to know what the doors are. But these are what the close or the end walls will look like. That right there. And that just basically makes it so like if the player somehow ends up in the dead end, they don't just see the end of the world basically, and they can just be like, okay, it's an actual dead end, and turn around and find a different area that they need to go. But you can see what I mean by the fact that everything's randomly generated. If I did it again, pressed it and spawned it again, see, the start room area is already different. This layout is completely different to the first one, and it's going to keep constantly being different no matter what. But I'm not going to showcase all of that because I don't think you guys really want to see every single thing. Then from there, you may have noticed this nav mesh bound. That is just for whenever I spawn in enemies into this area. I haven't done that as of yet. That is like a very last minute stuff that needs to get sorted, and because that's the last minute stuff that needs to get sorted, I don't need to worry about that as of yet right now. And then you would also, whenever I actually make this, we'll have actual spawning other actors, so like the objects that you can probably pick up in the world, whatever mission related stuff, and so on and so forth. But because of the fact that I'm just showcasing, I'm still working on a lot of stuff with this, I'm not really going to be showcasing that as of yet. But it is basically done. It just needs to be worked on a little bit further, that's all. And then yeah, that's pretty much everything that you need to know and learn about procedural generation. If you want, in the comment sections below, I can actually showcase you a proper in-depth breakdown of how each individual one of this works, so then you can just use it to your advantage. Or if not, don't worry, don't have to worry about that. But I will say this, I'm not the original creator of this code. I will put his name down in the description below, but I very understand how this works in so much detail that I can tell you what you need to do and how it would work in the future. Okay, so either ask me or look in the description below, but either way, this code is, I've literally tweaked it as well so much that yeah, it works without any problems, and I would highly recommend it. This is something I'm still working on, but don't worry, it's not really important as of yet, so you don't need to be like, oh, can we use this part as of yet. It's something I'm still working on, but how I have it currently right now, I may even keep it because I've been tweaking everything to my standards, to how I'm supposed to understand it, and it just works perfectly. But I will showcase, of course, tell you the original creator in the description below, and you just go to him, subscribe to him, like his videos or whatever you want to do. But he is very clear and understandable of how this all works, just like I will be clear and understandable if you ever want me to tell you as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And also, whenever I was making my rooms, I always tested the rooms to make sure they were working. So for example, if I go to this room they have elevator systems, which I showcased to you before in a video before. The elevators do not work. For some reason it doesn't work if it's being spawned in as like a child actor, or even spawned in like naturally into the world. So I have to change them and use elevators very limitedly and not use them in this generated room, which I don't mind. It's a good thing I've learned now rather than later. So my solution to that was just basically I'm going to do staircase. I've also incorporated the locked door system as well into the game because of that, just to make sure it was working, and it does work. I can tell you that I've been tweaking that like so many times that I know it works. And then so I have some future plans I want to showcase to you, and everything else. So first and foremost, you may have noticed that some of these stuff has changed. especially the little terminals. So the reason why they changed is because I decided I want to make some specific custom assets that can be used for the terminals, while as well as using the asset that my friend made, which I need to adjust where the camera is, but that's not the point. The future plan for these assets is specifically this one and that one down there, the mission terminal and data terminal, is have like hologram look, where we'll have like holographic like planets and stuff like that, like once you enter the box, and then once you leave the box it's not there anymore. And that's like pretty much the plan, and then whenever you select a specific planet, it zooms in on that specific planet. When you leave that planet, it zooms out that specific planet. That's the plan I would love to actually have for this, as well as this one right here, because the reason why I want to have it like that is because of the fact that I feel like it would make the look way more interesting than it already does right now. I still haven't figured out these codes because the guy I'm following, he hasn't really uploaded anything, and the thing is, because of how his code is done, I really don't want to be messing up anything to the point that I cannot redo it again. And yeah, you may have noticed these are the stairs I was talking about, the procedural stairs that I was going to use. It can technically be used, but I want to make my own custom one because I feel like these are just plain like blocks and I can't change the asset for them no matter how hard I try. So I may just make my own custom ones and then just go off of that information just to make my steps and stuff, and this may be used in the future for like other things, but as of right now it's just there waiting to be used. And then these are some teleporters I was planning to use in the future, but I'm not sure how I feel about using them now, but I am going to keep them around purely because of the fact I want to keep them. I feel like they can be very useful in the future. And yeah, that's pretty much everything that I want to do work on in the future wise, and keep working on, because of the fact that I want to make sure this game turns out really well, this game keeps developing and stuff like that. And yeah, it's one of those things, like I just want to keep doing loads of mini stuff as well as big stuffs at the same time, but I do need to of course work on some models, as well as the fact that we need to do missions, which I was relying on some friends to do, but I may have to do them myself because of the fact that it's been quite a while. No offense to them, that everyone's busy doing their own thing, so there's no hate or anything towards them. It's just a matter of fact is I really need to test everything just from beginning to end, minus the multiplayer aspect, because we need an actual like dedicated server to be able to do that, and we don't have that because we're going to use the Steam page for it, and it's just I need to just sort out £100 for it, and then from there we can actually make sure we have an actual Steam page, and it's from the Steam page we can always test every single multiplayer aspect of it. But I have been testing the multiplayer aspect by making sure to play the game as a client and having 2 players always on, always there, like 2 to 4 players always around, just to make sure everything is working and there's no problems. So yeah, that's the future plans, the future endeavors, and what the hope and dream of this is supposed to be. I will be probably going back to 3D modeling again, trying to finish off that area of it, because I still got, so like with the ship thing, it's like basically like a crate. I'll showcase it right now so you get an actual better idea. Yeah, it's basically like a crate looking thing right now, and because it's a crate looking thing, I got the actual ship itself that's actually going to be on the actual outside, and it's going to drop the crate into the world, and then when you finish the missions and stuff like that, then like the ship comes back, pick up the crate and picks you up at the same time. I was going to put it all into one, but I felt like doing it like this made it more interesting to showcase like how the premise of the story is going to be. I'm still also working on the data pad, which I may have figured out in theory how to actually fix it, so I'm going to go off of that assumption in my head and keep that assumption there, because I think it would actually it can work if I do that. So yeah, so just so you guys know, this is probably what's going to be in the future endeavor and all of the stuff from there. I was going to showcase to you the actual thing I've been working on, but I don't have the files again like last time, as well as the fact that it's just one of those things I may have to redo again from the beginning. Well, redo the area that broke again from the beginning, because it's physically not working and I do not know what I've done to break it. and I can't just go back on myself because I like closed it and opened it up and it just stopped working. I don't know what I've done, so I will be going back onto that area of expertise and fixing it. So yeah, this is just a little outro. I just wanted to add this note in before the end of the video. First and foremost, I hope you guys like, subscribe, and leave a comment on what you think of this development so far, from when I first originally started to now. What do you think? Do you think I'm everything's too ambitious? If it's not ambitious enough? Am I, not adding, if some things aren't done as soon as quicker than you expected? What do you think? Let me know. Please just talk with me and stuff. I'm very sorry if you're him barking. That's just my dog Saber. For some reason, he really wants to bark right now, and it's kind of annoying. Yeah. There's nothing I can do about that, if I'm being honest with you. So I'll try to get this done as soon as possible, so you don't keep hearing my dog barking. But yeah, let me know everything in the comment sections and stuff like that. Please just speak with me. Let me know what you think, what you don't like, what you like, and I can hopefully try to improve that and take on your criticism from what you guys see from an outward perspective, because that's all I want. I want outward perspective of a game and how, am I doing anything right? Am I doing anything wrong? If I'm doing anything wrong, what can I do to improve and develop it much further? That's all I care about, because that's all I want to do, keep improving. That's one. Two, my friend and I have been talking every so often, and they were thinking I should stream this on Twitch. So in you guys' humble opinion, should I stream this on Twitch? Is what I'm doing Twitch worthy? And if it is Twitch worthy, what when do you what do you want me to basically cover in the Twitch stream? Should I just keep doing what I do, like a long video like this, and then when I do YouTube channels, basically like the breakdowns of what was on a Twitch stream? What do you want? Do you want that to happen? Do you feel like that would be a cool idea, instead of actually waiting for video by video, for one? And if you don't want that, what do you think would be the best idea for moving this channel forward? Because even though this channel isn't really like it's more documentation, just to showcase everything I've done, I am also using this as a career momentum to push myself forward, to actually turn this into a full-time job, because I really would love to be a part of the game industry and be a part of be an indie team that makes games that's fun, and actually like the old days in the early 2000s of gamings, with like 2010 games and stuff like that. That's my dream at some point, and I want to achieve that. What do you think? Twitch stream? And if we do Twitch stream, what would you like to be covered? And even if it's a Twitch stream that's not just about gaming, like making a game the way you guys just get to know me better on a one-to-one, outside of me making video games, would you want that? Yeah, just let me know, please. It's just it's probably best thing for me. It's just, you tell me, do you think it's a good idea, you think it's a bad idea, and so on. I've also been uploading some of my work onto LinkedIn and Instagram. Probably as of this video or next video, I will be putting them into into the description of both of them, and you can just follow from there. I will most likely also be setting up a Patreon at some point in the future if you want to support me. If not, and yeah, also I do want to say, because I noticed on my channel I have an extra subscriber. To that one extra subscriber who has watched my videos, thank you so much. You are very appreciative, and I hope you, as well as anyone who subscribes in the future, are having an amazing day and are looking at my video as some sort of inspiration, if not some sort of inspiration, as a good viewing port of what it's like to be in the games industry, and what I've learnt, and trying to instill onto other people, because what they teach you in school sometimes isn't all the stuff that they teach you, and it's not being broken down well enough. So please, thank you to that one subscriber and any subscribers in the future. I hope everyone, not just that subscriber, everyone in the future has such an amazing day, and they just keep progressing and keep developing and have such a lovely future ahead of them. Also, like I said in the beginning of this video, Happy New Year's when you are watching this, and if you're watching this before New Year's, just Happy New Year's for when it comes in the future. Just yeah. But yeah, that's everything I want to say. Thank you and goodbye.